I drank my coffee. I checked my emails. Drinking my coffee, I checked my emails. She listened to music. She cleaned her room. Listening to music, she cleaned her room. He walked down the street. He whistled a tune. Walking down the street, he whistled a tune. I waited for the bus. I read a book. Waiting for the bus, I read a book. They sat on the bench. They watched the sunset. Sitting on the bench, they watched the sunset. She cooked dinner. She talked on the phone. Cooking dinner, she talked on the phone. I lay in bed. I thought about my future. Lying in bed, I thought about my future. He stood by the window. He looked at the rain. Standing by the window, he looked at the rain. We drove to the city. We sang along to the radio. Driving to the city, we sang along to the radio. She worked on her laptop. She sipped some tea. Working on her laptop, she sipped some tea. I felt tired. I went to bed early. Feeling tired, I went to bed early. She didn't know the answer. She remained silent. Not knowing the answer, she remained silent. He was a foreigner. He needed a visa. Being a foreigner, he needed a visa. I wanted to save money. I ate at home. Wanting to save money, I ate at home. They were late. They took a taxi. Being late, they took a taxi. She lived alone. She felt a bit lonely. Living alone, she felt a bit lonely. I didn't have a car. I walked everywhere. Not having a car, I walked everywhere. He was afraid of heights. He didn't climb the mountain. Being afraid of heights, he didn't climb the mountain. They realized the mistake. They fixed it immediately. Realizing the mistake, they fixed it immediately. I grew up in London. I speak English fluently. Growing up in London, I speak English fluently. He opened the drawer. He took out a pen. Opening the drawer, he took out a pen. She finished her work. She left the office. Finishing her work, she left the office. I turned off the light. I went to sleep. Turning off the light, I went to sleep. He arrived at the station. He bought a ticket. Arriving at the station, he bought a ticket. She heard the news. She started to cry. Hearing the news, she started to cry. I closed the door. I locked it. Closing the door, I locked it. He saw the police. He ran away. Seeing the police, he ran away. She took off her shoes. She jumped into the pool. Taking off her shoes, she jumped into the pool. I found the key. I opened the box. Finding the key, I opened the box. He read the letter. He smiled. Reading the letter, he smiled. It was made in Italy. The bag was expensive. Made in Italy, the bag was expensive. He was tired of the noise. He moved to the countryside. Tired of the noise, he moved to the countryside. She was surprised by the gift. She couldn't say a word. Surprised by the gift, she couldn't say a word. It was written in haste. The letter had many mistakes. Written in haste, the letter had many mistakes. He was born into a rich family. He never worried about money. Born into a rich family, he never worried about money. The city was surrounded by mountains. It was very cold. Surrounded by mountains, the city was very cold. I was encouraged by my teacher. I kept studying. Encouraged by my teacher, I kept studying. She was confused by the map. She got lost. Confused by the map, she got lost. It was hidden under the rug. The key was safe. Hidden under the rug, the key was safe. He was exhausted from work. He fell asleep on the bus. Exhausted from work, he fell asleep on the bus. My brother works in New York. He is coming home. My brother, working in New York, is coming home. The car was parked outside. It was stolen. The car, parked outside, was stolen. The girl was wearing a red dress. She looked beautiful. The girl, wearing a red dress, looked beautiful. That house was built in 1920. It is very old. That house, built in 1920, is very old. His latest book was published last month. It is a bestseller. His latest book, published last month, is a bestseller. The man was standing at the door. He was my uncle. The man, standing at the door, was my uncle. The cake was made by my mom. It was delicious. The cake, made by my mom, was delicious. The students were studying in the library. They were quiet. The students studying in the library were quiet. This phone was bought a week ago. It is already broken. This phone, bought a week ago, is already broken. My friend lives in Paris. She sent me a postcard. My friend, living in Paris, sent me a postcard. I had finished my homework. I went out to play. Having finished my homework, I went out to play. She had lost her phone. She felt very frustrated. Having lost her phone, she felt very frustrated. They had traveled all day. They were exhausted. Having traveled all day, they were exhausted. He had seen the movie twice. He knew all the lines. Having seen the movie twice, he knew all the lines. I had lived there for 10 years. I knew the city well. Having lived there for 10 years, I knew the city well. She had saved enough money. She bought a new car. Having saved enough money, she bought a new car. They had discussed the plan. They made a decision. Having discussed the plan, they made a decision. He had failed the test. He decided to study harder. Having failed the test, he decided to study harder. I had eaten a heavy lunch. I felt sleepy. Having eaten a heavy lunch, I felt sleepy. She had won the race. She celebrated with her friends. Having won the race, she celebrated with her friends. My teacher is a kind person. She always helps us. My teacher, a kind person, always helps us. Rome is the eternal city. It has a long history. Rome, the eternal city, has a long history. Mr. Kim is our CEO. He will give a speech today. Mr. Kim, our CEO, will give a speech today. His car is an old vintage model. It still runs well. His car, an old vintage model, still runs well. My best friend is a talented pianist. She won the competition. My best friend, a talented pianist, won the competition. The Burj Khalifa is the tallest building. It is in Dubai. The Burj Khalifa, the tallest building, is in Dubai. Python is a popular coding language. It is easy to learn. Python, a popular coding language, is easy to learn. This dog is a golden retriever. It is very friendly. This dog, a golden retriever, is very friendly. Her mother is a famous chef. She owns 3 restaurants. Her mother, a famous chef, owns 3 restaurants. Tokyo is a massive metropolis. It never sleeps. Tokyo, a massive metropolis, never sleeps. He was talking to me. His hands were in his pockets. He was talking to me, with his hands in his pockets. She was reading a book. Her cat was sleeping on her lap. She was reading a book, with her cat sleeping on her lap. I walked home. The wind was blowing against my face. I walked home, with the wind blowing against my face. He stood there. His arms were crossed. He stood there, with his arms crossed. She stared at the window. Her eyes were filled with tears. She stared at the window, with her eyes filled with tears. We sat on the grass. The sun was shining on us. We sat on the grass, with the sun shining on us. He was sleeping. The TV was still on. He was sleeping, with the TV still on. She ran toward him. Her heart was beating fast. She ran toward him, with her heart beating fast. I left the room. The lights were still burning. I left the room, with the lights still burning. He waited for her. His watch was constantly checked. He waited for her, with his watch constantly checked. This book is read carefully. It will change your life. If read carefully, this book will change your life. You are asked to leave. Please do so quietly. If asked to leave, please do so quietly. The machine is used too much. It will break down. If used too much, the machine will break down. You are in doubt. You should call the office. If in doubt, you should call the office. The milk is kept in the fridge. It will stay fresh. If kept in the fridge, the milk will stay fresh. You are confronted with a problem. Stay calm. If confronted with a problem, stay calm. It is necessary. We will call you back. If necessary, we will call you back. The cream is applied once a day. It works well. If applied once a day, the cream works well. The painting is viewed from a distance. It looks better. If viewed from a distance, the painting looks better. You are given a chance. Don't miss it. If given a chance, don't miss it. I was shocked by the news. I couldn't say anything. Shocked by the news, I couldn't say anything. She was inspired by the story. She wrote a poem. Inspired by the story, she wrote a poem. He was worried about the exam. He stayed up all night. Worried about the exam, he stayed up all night. They were excited about the trip. They packed early. Excited about the trip, they packed early. I was embarrassed by my mistake. I turned red. Embarrassed by my mistake, I turned red. She was fascinated by the culture. She moved to Japan. Fascinated by the culture, she moved to Japan. He was disappointed by the result. He left the room. Disappointed by the result, he left the room. They were terrified by the noise. They ran away. Terrified by the noise, they ran away. I was touched by his kindness. I thanked him deeply. Touched by his kindness, I thanked him deeply. She was annoyed by the delay. She complained. Annoyed by the delay, she complained.